Hello, everyone, and welcome to our pre-recorded session for our RCO risk management training. So if you missed the 3 trainings online, then it's okay because you can just watch this video and you're going to answer a questionnaire at the end. So let's go ahead and start off. So today's agenda. So why are you here? Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities. We're going to talk about some of their resources. We're going to talk about OSI policies, Title IX, and how to report it, hazing prevention, bystander intervention, violating policies, and confidential resources. So why are you here? So we're going to talk about some updates to the policies that the University of California has implemented. So there have been updates to the OSI policies that you need to be aware of, current guidelines for events, mitigating risk at your club and organization events, no campus policies, and how to support your members. And this is a required training. So we want you to be successful, safe, knowledgeable organization. So this is why the training is important. And obviously a minimum of 2 officers from each registered organization needs to attend this training annually. So since I'm assuming some of you missed the trainings online, you just need 2 officers to watch these videos and answer the questions at the end to count as attended for the annual training. So we're going to talk about risk services here at UC Merced. So a great way to know what resources you have is to go on this website, which is risk.ucmerced.edu. Here you can see things for guidance for risk assessment and mitigation, loss and prevention control, facilities insurance needs, direct claims and processing. Any events, activities with minors will need risk services approval. Certain high-risk activities may require a special waiver or additional risk assessment. High-risk activities may include overnight camping, helicopter rides, strenuous physical activities, live animals, fireworks, etc. So this website is going to be your best friend for those things because here you could find those waivers if you are doing something high risk or anything physical. And you can find the waivers as well for if you're going to be having minors coming on campus or anything like that. So liability waivers. So any liability waiver must be signed anytime a participant is doing something physical. If the waivers are not signed, you and your members and UC Merced are held liable for anything that happens. So if a member does not sign this waiver prior to doing the physical activity, then it could lead to huge risk. So that is why we ask for you guys to have any participants sign these waivers or for you guys to print them and have them out for your events. So if the event includes any physical activity, examples such as dances, sports, working with power tools, participants must sign a waiver prior to participation. I do suggest that you scan this QR code because you will see all the waivers that you need. And you'll be able to print these out whenever you need them. So some of these waivers, for example, are the elective voluntary activity waiver. The elective voluntary activity waiver should be used when a student or other individual participates in an elective voluntary activity such as field trip, recruitment program, study abroad, recreation program, or off-campus research activities. Group signatures. This form can be used to obtain group signatures for the elective voluntary activity waiver, such as a volleyball tournament, etc. Photo, audio, video, and recording release. This waiver is used when a person's photo or video audio recording will be used by UC Merced in connection with a news article, educational material, photo exhibition, advertisement, website display, etc. It is not needed for private photos or recordings. For vendors who display low-value items at an event or on university property, not for vendors who sell goods, bring high-value equipment, vehicles, computers, etc. for display. And then lastly, our virtual program waiver used when participating in virtual online activities or programs. So now we're going to talk about the Code of Student Conduct. So the Code of Student Conduct, UC Merced students are held to high standards of conduct set by the University of California and the campus, as well as to general requirements of law. UC Merced students are expected to uphold these standards in all of their academic and extracurricular activities. 2, sexual violence and harassment is the university's procedures for resolving reports of sexual violence, sexual harassment, and other prohibited behavior as defined by the SVSH policy, where the responding parties are students, including the sanctioning of students who are found in violation of the SVSH policy. Free speech. Speech generally is fully protected unless it is accompanied by or incites illegal activity. This includes the expression of unpopular or controversial viewpoints and speech that is viewed as hateful or offensive. Speech used to threaten physical harm, however, is a good example of speech that may be regulated. Peaceful protest guidelines. So here's a website that you guys can go to research more about peaceful protest guidelines. And these guidelines tie into below policy is interim policy of expressive activities. Describes the university's policy on expressive activities, and assembly, including protests, demonstrations, outside speakers, and posting, including time, place, and manner procedures implemented pursuant to this policy. So now we're going to talk about some COVID-19 event guidelines for this semester and this year. Students can reserve any on-campus spaces through ASHA or EMS. That hasn't changed. Indoor events are still limited to 50 people. Outdoor events over 100 guests must be approved by a senior leader. Student Affairs OSI has approval to have events with 150 people outdoors. Face coverings are required for all participants for all indoor meetings and events, regardless of their vaccination status. Serving food indoors should be avoided unless it is grab and go and not consumed at the event. UC Merced student, staff, and faculty who are fully vaccinated are not required to wear face coverings while attending outdoor events. However, all visitors must wear face coverings outdoors, whether they are fully vaccinated or not. Guests may not enter university facilities if they have tested positive for COVID-19 or feel unwell. All organizations and departments must take attendance or have RSVP registration form at all gatherings and meetings to aid contact tracing for COVID-19. And obviously the next estimated update was supposed to be October 1st, but those continue to change. So we have not had any of those yet. So now we're going to talk about Title IX and how to report it. So if you go to the website, ophd.ucmerced.edu, which is the Office for the Prevention of Harassment and Discrimination, you can find all the resources you need to report a Title IX incident or anything of that sort. As a student organization, you are responsible for upholding sexual harassment, sexual assault, and discrimination policies. So please make sure to use these resources if you have a Title IX incident and have to report it. Now let's talk about UC Merced hazing policy. Participation in hazing or any method of initiation or pre-initiation into a campus organization or other activity engaged in by the organization or members of the organization at any time that causes or is likely to cause physical injury or personal degradation of disgrace resulting in psychological harm to any student or other person. Hazing can happen anywhere. Hazing is any activity expected of someone joining or participating in a group that humiliates, degrades, abuses, or endangers them regardless of a person's willingness to participate. This doesn't just happen in fraternities and sororities. It happens in athletics, sports club, performing arts organizations, honor societies, academic clubs, etc. It can happen regardless of the person's willingness to participate, and it can happen whether you are in the organization or not. So 3 components that define hazing: it would be in a group, humiliating, degrading, or endangering behavior of someone, and regardless of the individual's willingness to participate. How you can report hazing. You can fill out a form with the Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities and send an email to osrr@ucmerced.edu. You can fill out the incident form with the following link. File a report with the Office of Student Involvement. You fill out with the following link, or email and set up a meeting with Haley Montoya, hmontoya2@ucmerced.edu. Once we receive the information, we forward it to OSRR. Or if you don't feel comfortable sharing your incident, then you can call this number 188-NOT-HAZE and keep it all confidential. Now we're going to talk about the bystander intervention. Remember the 3 Ds: direct, approach to the situation, distract, create a distraction to diffuse the situation, and delegate, seek assistance from others, friends, authority figures, etc. This is a great way to mitigate problems with risk or anything that has to do with conflict resolution. So as an organization, leaders, you have the responsibility to intervene when needed, set the example for the rest of your members. So violating policies. OSRR will review the information and allegations sent to them. OSRR may conduct interviews with witnesses, new members / members. The president will remain the point of contact when student conduct needs to talk with the organization. Student conduct, OSRR has the right to implement any of the following sanctions after student conduct believes they have enough information: warning, probation, suspension, and dismissal. Educational components could be added too, such as workshops, reflection papers, etc. So here are some confidential resources for you. I suggest you take a picture of this, pause the video, write them down. These are going to be really good in the time that you may need them, or anyone in your organization may need. And this is great information to share with your members as well. That is going to be it for the presentation today. Again, be sure to watch the entirety of this video. There will be a link at the bottom of this video with Google Forms to mark your attendance for these trainings. So please make sure to fill that out. And if you guys have any questions, please contact Haley Montoya, the Interim Assistant Director, H Montoya2 at ucmerced.edu, or you can email the RCO team, clubs and orgs at ucmerced.edu. Again, thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.